All right, last person I want to ask you about, Kwon, Terra Luna. Apparently now Singapore is looking for him. No, South Korea is looking for him. He's not in Singapore. What do you make of this whole thing? Because when we spoke, it was probably the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now everyone's calling it a scam. They're hunting him down. Probably neither one is true. What do you make of everything that happened? Again, something that probably started with great intentions, probably something that in theory is a great idea, having an algorithmic stablecoin. We will have one day. Is there malicious intentions involved here? Was this a mistake? What do you see?
Maybe we'll have algorithmic stablecoins. You know, I think
even Jeremy Allaire of USDC Circle says there is a functional need for algorithmic stablecoins. Whether we'll pull one off, I don't know.
That's good, but you know, the United States government has a bill right now potentially going through. We haven't seen the final version yet that puts a 2-year ban on algorithmic stablecoins. So that's a big fight going on right now. Now let's talk about Kwon. I don't think, now look, we were not heavily invested in Luna. We had $80,000 in Luna the day that it crashed, which was just a tiny portion of our portfolio. I know that sounds like a lot of money to a lot of people. I understand that. Would have been a lot of money to me just a few years ago. But that was a very small percentage of our portfolio when we had many projects in 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures at different times. So the point is, we pushed Terra Luna for sure as a good trading coin back in 2021 for 2 different months, and it crushed it both those months. I've never included Terra Luna as one of our top layer 1 platforms that we think is going to do really, really well. I always thought there was just something a little bit off about it. Couldn't ever put my finger on what it was.
18% yields? Was that a little off?
Well, you know,
it
seemed like when you're looking at Wonderland talking about a 79,000%, you know, return, that, you know, 18% sounds kind of reasonable compared to that. I think what we're finding out is even 8 to 10% isn't reasonable. You know, maybe 2, 3, 4% could be. That kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like, you know, especially if you got to risk it with a third party. But the thing to me is that, you know, first of all, we've yet to see an algorithmic stablecoin work and work over the long term and be successful. If you look at all the algorithmic stablecoins or elastic supply coins, you look at your ample force, you look at your reserve rights, Benchmark was one that we worked with at some point. You know, they just haven't performed well. So we haven't seen them really perform well. And then in addition to that, you know, we haven't seen one take off for the long term and really establish itself above everything else. UST was well on the way to doing that, and it crumbled. I do not. So I want to say, like, from the beginning, I was never a gigantic supporter. Like, you know, I know that several other YouTube creators were really big on Terra Luna. Certainly we had videos where we talked about it, where it was hot at the time, but we were never a gigantic supporter of Terra Luna. And I think that's very important for this conversation because I didn't even care who Kwon was at that point. I don't think Kwon's a bad guy. I don't think Kwon is a terrible person. I think Kwon got his head in over his skis. And I think that he really believed everything he was selling. And he believed that he had cracked the code and cracked the formula. But what we found is, if there is a vulnerability, I think this is what everybody needs to take away from this. If there is any vulnerability in a coin, a platform, a chain, it's always going to be exploited. And with those algorithmic stablecoins, the fact that somebody could come in and flood the market and then pull it off really quick and then buy it at a discount from the project itself, that was a vulnerability that could have uncracked the peg and removed the peg from UST, which was the stablecoin of Terra Luna. It didn't matter. I believe that it was BlackRock. I believe it was Citadel. And you know how I know? Because they came out and said it wasn't them. When they came out and said, no, it's not us, that means they're paying enough attention to it to need to come make a comment. Do you know how much bad stuff people say about BlackRock every single day because it's an awful company? Tons of stuff. How much do they respond to? Nothing. What they respond to? This. That should tell you the proof in the pudding right there that they were definitely behind this. So I believe that you had a lot of really bad actors that were acting to do this, but it didn't matter if it was them. If this vulnerability in the tokenomics existed, according to the peg, it was always going to eventually get broken. I don't think Kwon thought that through enough. I think he was very naive. I think, and look, we look back on my channel and different stuff and projects that we worked with and stuff, like, I was naive about stuff at certain points. You can be naive because you can be too trusting. I think he was very naive from a perspective of he had way too much confidence in himself And so people were telling him there were problems. He was like, nah, we got this. Trust me. Look at what we've done. We got this. And I think it was really probably an ego problem that led to this cracking. I don't think he maliciously did any of this, but look, it's kind of like this. It's like an involuntary manslaughter charge on a car accident. Like, you might have missed a red light because it was raining really hard and you couldn't see how far you were away. But when you crossed that line and you hit another car and kill someone, didn't matter if you meant to or not. What mattered is you were directly involved in an action that was your fault that led to someone getting killed. And so you get charged with involuntary manslaughter. And sometimes a court will feel really sorry for you and they'll let you off the hook. And other times they'll give it to you full brow, exactly, whatever the most penalty they can give to you. And that's going to be, of course, situation specific. I think that's kind of what we're looking at with Do Kwon. He didn't mean to. He didn't do this on purpose. But at the end of the day, so many people got hurt by it that he's got to answer to it in at least some way. And I think that's what we're looking at, with this situation.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm gonna tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you gonna do? What's the choice that you're going to make?